Hi, friends. Happy Friday, first Friday of April. Okay, I opened today with this quote from Byron Katie. I just read this the other day in the Year of Inquiry. The work always leaves you with less of a story. Who would you be without your story? You never know until you inquire. There is no story that is you or that leads to you. Every story leads away from you. Turn it around. Undo it. You are what exists before all stories. You are what remains when the story is understood. There is no story that is you or that leads to you. Love that. So that's what we're doing here, looking at stories, noticing the story that pulls us out of ourselves so we feel that discord between just not feeling at home. So, where we begin, just noticing what looks troubling, what is difficult, what feels hard, and just notice if your mind judges, oh, that's not that bad, or you that's a minor, that's a little petty stuff about people or whatever. This is bigger, or this is really big. This can't just be, you can't settle this down by doing the work. I mean, just notice the mind, categorizing or putting levels on it that it loves to do, divide things up into categories, and just welcoming, letting it be there, allowing, if you will, if you want to say it that way, allowing might not be so welcome. The disturbance. So just noticing it's there. It's there anyway, like under the surface, it's bubbling. So we may as well have a close look. But I love that it starts with the feeling in the body. You feel it. At least for many people. You might not even know exactly what you're troubled by. You just feel something that's disturbed, not comfortable. I don't like this. And we're just saying, okay, I see you. I know you're here. I'm not going to try to get rid of you. I'm not going to try to push this down, get away from it. I really want to know the truth. I want to look. I want to look. It's there anyway. So I like seeing, it's there's there's the thought or the story, the feeling, the sensations. I can distract sometimes for a while and look over here, forget about it, or and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I can even push the distraction. Very painful. We talk about that in the eating piece. Or any other compulsion, you're just the reaching to get away from the disturbance. Or we can question it, like how Katie says, you've got two options. You can believe your thought, or you can question it. There isn't option number 3, don't have the thought at all. least not until you do the work on it to look. So just letting it be there. And then just see where your mind travels and like what bubbles up to the top, what wants to come for inquiry today without any judgment on what the thing is. Something's hit you personally, something's disturbed, you read something, you heard something, you had an encounter, like the situations and experiences happen. And then there's a feeling. So just notice what wants to bubble up to the top and see if there's just a concept. I'm upset because, and whatever comes after that, because. And it's okay if your pen starts writing and you have other things you're upset about. And oh, now you're listening. Oh, let me make a list. Let me show you. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. And then you just see what rises up and feels like it's just wanting to be looked at today. Something in you really wants to look at this. Even if part of you doesn't want to look at it, it's like, here's what's happening. Here's my concept. And we get to investigate with you being the expert. You get to find your answers. Okay. So let's hear some of these concepts. Larry.
Hello there.
Gee.
Well, you hit on it all. I don't want to look at this, but because I've looked at it so often. The generic statement is this should not be happening.
Um, yeah. Okay.
And then what's the point of even looking at it? It happened. It's probably going to get worse.
Uh,
Uh, we're going to die. What's the point? I mean, it's just all the way, just what you said, all the way down the line.
yes. Yes. Okay. Really, yeah. Good to notice. I mean, just helpful to see that. And you're familiar with it. You're for
Yes.
oh, there's that. Oh God, there's no hope for it. Who cares? Yeah. What's the point? This is so stupid. You know? Yeah.
There's no point in doing the work. It's not going to help.
Yes.
There's that all that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. In some ways, just that's a really interesting thing. Just let it be. What if there kind of isn't a full blown? I mean, I know I came to the work. I went, I signed up for that school and I went to the work because I knew suffering. I was like, she's talking about something. I read the book and I'm like, oh my God, really? Wow, okay. And I wanted to go and I didn't want to be suffering. But it's a weird thing because it's also, if it gets to be a very strong spotlight on, I'm going to do the work and at the end of it, life is going to be fantastic and or whatever, like just like you're thinking, everything's going to be sort of fixed. Well, that's got a certain agenda to it. And we think we know what fixed is, or anyway, it just has a something to it. And I want to just be super open as I answer the questions and let myself feel it all the way deep down in the body. So it's not just from the neck up. Yeah, just feeling it. What if I could answer these questions one by one and see? So someone else had their hand up. Want to share one liner? Kirsten, hello.
Yeah, mine that came from the body was I'm upset because I've been left waiting.
Oh,
I've been left waiting.
yes.
And it's come up for me a couple times in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Um, I was meeting someone at a certain time
Hmm.
and they weren't there at the appointed time. And it was a flood in the body.
Yeah.
Like, this is not okay. Something terrible is happening against me. So it's very body.
Really good. Yeah. And that's good. So let your body inform, even if your mind might be going, I know it's okay. Da, da, da. We'll find out what happened.
Oh, I was totally trying to control it with my
Yeah.
mind, like, relax, stop being such a tight ass about
Yeah.
timeliness. Like, what, stop. Nothing bad is, I was trying to like coach myself out of it, but the body was like, nope.
Yes. Yes. It's very powerful. Yeah. I've been left waiting, like abandoned. I'm abandoned here. Thank you. It's great. Devi.
Hi, Grace. It's Davy. Thank you.
Thank you. Great.
I This is like happened a week ago, but it's a returning thing with traveling after the traveling's over and I've navigated. I usually travel alone. I just get this wound up. I can't settle down. And I just like, okay, deal with it, go to the meetings, pray, meditate, all that. But yet still, 5 days later, I did eat a like a big meal and I settled down. So I haven't yet to be able to navigate residual anxiety, which comes through as adrenaline rushes.
Yes. Yes. Very, yeah, really powerful. I get it. They're not comfortable. Adrenaline rush. Although sometimes people try to get them, by going to amusement park or whatever, right? Jumping off a bungee cord. Um, but just seeing it, there's the initial lack of settling from, just perspective, like I'm not home, I'm out, I'm untethered, or whatever is happening, the encounters, and then
Yeah, a lot of stimulation. Everything's new. The area, the people, so yes. And
yeah,
I loved it, but it's just it's like a physical feeling that it's just a continual thing that ruins my abstinence.
yeah, yes,
So
okay, yeah,
anyway, yeah.
everything's new, it's too much, oh my gosh, woohoo, yeah. So and there's all these things that exist, like eating or drinking or smoking or buying something or whatever that we do, cleaning like a crazy person. Um, they help. They help a little bit. It's very compelling, very briefly, very temporarily, not in any kind of deep way. It's just like a, sort of soothing band-aid type situation. And so I can't settle down. I can't settle down. It's just a good one to see. I can't settle down. Everything's new. Yeah, I mean, just good awareness. All right. Yeah. You, Cindy.
Yeah, hi, great to be here. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone, for showing up. I am obsessed with watching the news.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just cannot seem to get enough. I even started listening to it on podcasts when I'm walking in nature. And I set boundaries saying I'm going to stop, limit it to an hour a day or just listen to XYZ. I don't know what the feeling is about it, but just a general feeling of anxiety and unsettledness, and thinking more news is going to help that when in fact it does the opposite for me. And I know that it's not a knowledge problem, but I am totally obsessed with watching the news.
Yes, yes. No, I like how you said it. More news will help. Like just noticing the one that is believing that. I need to know what's happening. More news will help. I need to get the news. Um, I need news. And yes, really good. All right, Stephanie.
Um, the one about how this moment needs to be sweeter
Y-
or more intense, or I'm finding more focused because overwhelm steps in a lot.
Yeah,
And I can't remember. I know that's something that's been worked on before, but I can't remember why this moment doesn't need to be better.
yes. Well, I like you said overwhelmed. You felt the
Hmm.
overwhelm.
Definitely.
So, you know, then mind has it, it's paired with let's get a sweet thing. It's quick. But we
Yeah.
we know how to work with overwhelm. And like I always say, I love the word overwhelm because it's all the boating references for emotions, like we're drowning or we're anyway, there's just so many being
Yeah.
wildly out at sea somewhere or out at sea. Um, but yeah, water coming in over the helm, so we're gonna drown. Like our stability, it looks like it's gonna drown. Uh, wouldn't we be flailing around for something, wanting to live? But just seeing I'm overwhelmed and that there'll be things happening about what this overwhelm is, why it's there, what's the struggle say because of these things, life.
Right.
So it's just
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed because of these things that are going on, and just notice the things. Sometimes it's you narrow it down to one, but like the news or the being left waiting or seeing something that shouldn't be happening. I'm having feelings about that event, these situations, this condition. Yeah. And of
Okay.
course, there'd want to be, let's quick get the medicine. It looks like the medicine that I would need to settle that down. And then you get kind of numbed out and you're not paying attention to it. It's, which is okay. You, you know, it seems very like it makes a sense. You want to help me get out from this overwhelm. But I like that we get to look back and see. So I want to see what is happening that I feel overwhelmed about.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can
Thank
look at
you.
it like you're one of those, like a gamer that has like four screens up in front of you. And you've got those things all in motion, or like an art gallery, and you have all the things hanging on the wall right in front of you. You're looking at them all. Sometimes there's just one main one. All right. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
you bet. You bet. All right. Bonnie.
Hi. So mine is, it feels like everything is falling apart, like the country, my life, my body, and my solution is to eat. So I can't stop eating. I'm trying to eat to make myself feel better, and it just doesn't work. It makes me feel worse.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, so just seeing that, anyone who's ever done that knows what that feels like. It's so discouraging later, and something really goes offline. Just this primitive urge to get the thing to when I'm falling apart. And it just doesn't, if it knew anything better to do, it would. But so a little compassion, but curiosity about this falling apart business. It's all falling apart. I'm just noticing sometimes the motion of whatever it is we get compulsive about, like the thing, in this case, eating, it's even an interesting activity. It's like something goes in and you say settle down, and there is like a deep old need, this a need to eat for survival and just stay alive and not have hunger. But the actual motion of food is downward, and you have to be still you can't be running and eating at the same time, you know. So you just kind of something about it settles you down. And it's the same type of thing for any other kind of compulsion. You drink a glass of wine and it's feel it's something about the feeling, or watch the screens, and something about what's happening there is sort of calming the mind down. It looks like it's just settling down and focusing somewhere else, doing something different, and shows up differently for different people based on just their kind of how they're hooked up and what's happening. So in your case, okay, so this food eating's happening, but before that, everything's falling apart. Everything's falling apart. My body, the country. Yeah. So you said those two things. So even just notice uh, body, country, just see the things. Sometimes when you start to look at them, it's not everything. Like the chair I'm sitting on isn't falling apart. My sweater isn't falling apart. The bookshelf isn't falling apart. So our mind will say everything, blanket statement, because it feels like that in the middle of it when I'm drowning in the middle of it. But actually, it's my body and a few other things, and they pile together. Sometimes it doesn't take much. So thank you. Yeah. Karen.
I'm just so sad
Mm,
in my body. I'm
mhm,
so sad,
mm,
and uh, and it feels like I should be, and that's
mm,
it. It almost feels like I would betray if I didn't feel so sad about the world right now. It feels like I would be betraying something deeper
mm,
and more
mm,
truthful. And so it's a hard pull back and forth.
mhm.
To,
Well, I just think, is there something wrong with being sad?
um, I think only in that. No,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no. There's nothing. But I feel it being off put. I feel others are off put by it.
Ah,
So
sure.
I so I don't express it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there is something for it. It's just here it is. It comes up, and let's just have it be here. Sometimes there is such a quick rush to, get this. I hate that. Get that away from me. I don't want to feel bad. Oh my God, just let's sedate this thing as quickly as possible. So, I mean, here comes sadness, if I'm not against the sadness, but then I can also look and see at these world events. I mean, just look and see if there's anything more there, as I'm imagining them and noticing them and aware and investigate. Yeah, just to see. Yeah, just to pick up on that. See if there's anything more.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, there is just does these something, here it comes, this experience, the feeling that I'm having. And lots of times there'll be many thoughts about feelings, about how they shouldn't, this feeling should not be here. Yeah. Catherine,
Hi.
hello.
Hi, it's lovely to be here and lovely to see everybody. I joined late, so I'm just sort of gathering
Yes.
are we just saying what
We're-
it is for us?
Yes. What's disturbing us?
Yeah. So I I'm having a really hard time with the food at the moment. I have like periods where it's really good and then periods where it's just terrible. And The state of the world, like somebody suggested, that's really bothering me, what's going on in the States, and fixating on numbers and how that doesn't help. But also, like when I'm feeling like I want to eat, I just want that feeling to end, even if it's being replaced by another bad feeling, which is the bad feeling I get when I've eaten too much. At least it's a change in bad feelings.
Yeah.
So it's going from, I don't even know what it is that I feel. I don't feel irritable, or I probably would if somebody sort of took my food away. I'd probably kill somebody or kill myself, or I have a total, rage, out of character sort of rage attack. Um, and my father was an alcoholic, and I remember we all did an intervention on him and tried to get him to go to rehab. And he was a very mild mannered, peaceful, lovely person. But when we did this, he completely changed. And I will never forget him saying, "You will have to put me in a straitjacket, and wild horses would not get me to go to that place." Um, and I, instead of being upset by it, I was just like amazed by it, because I was like looking at myself,
Mm.
this change
Yeah.
in his whole nature. Um, and uh, but it doesn't help. It's the fixating on things that doesn't help. Like if I have forgotten, if I'm on a 33-day streak playing Wordle and I forget one day, I feel devastated that I've got to go back to day one. And it's like some sort of little bit of control that I've got. At least I've got that. At least I'm on a 100%, success streak on Wordle. There's something about that that just makes me feel like everything is okay. But of course, it's so not okay. And the more I do it, the
Mm.
worse the worse I feel, and the more ridiculous I feel, and more ridiculous I realize that my life has become. And ridiculous is really the word that comes to mind. It's utterly ridiculous. And I don't mean that in a critical way
Mm.
of myself. I literally, it's like, this is like to be ridiculed. And um, yeah, but I also just think I need help with this, like on a daily basis. It's like it's not enough to get the help once, you know, like if I, anyway, I just feel like I spiral down unless I have help with this insanity, or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah. Yeah.
every single day, because every single day is different. It's
Sure.
like I wake up a new person with a new sort of mental illness or something every day. So whatever worked yesterday doesn't work today.
Mm.
Um, and um, and the other thing I feel like when I eat something, I literally feel like I'm mixing cement in my mouth, and
Mm.
I'm building a structure that's going to keep me strong. Like when I look at cement mixers, I think that's how I feel. And they're making something. It's literally like it's in my mouth, and I'm making cement, and it's helping me to build, make me feel stronger
Yeah.
and control.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. It's like a fear of of loss of control, not knowing what next step to take.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Well, what a powerful thing to notice. And I like the mention of rage. If my food was taken away, I might have rage. So
yeah.
maybe, so what I really hear from everybody sharing today, thank you so much, Catherine, is and even some in the chat here, I'm upset because I doubt myself in everything in life. And Milda, I'm upset with my complicated mind, which is mostly attracted to negativity and fear, is that these responses inside of us as human beings. So here's the thinking. The body feels, you feeling your thinking. So you feel it in the body. And then there are, heard a lot of thoughts that are against that feeling. So this thing
I
called,
want to say one more thing.
yeah.
Sorry, and also the regret in a way of not feeling those feelings. Like a friend of mine was just on the phone and he was telling me that his father's had a stroke and his parents, were at that age where our parents have died and stuff like that. And he doesn't know how to deal with it. And I said, all I can say is that if I could do it again, I would do it differently. I would be there for the whole thing rather than be in a state of panic the whole time because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Like when someone dies, you don't know how it's going to go. When someone's born and they go from 0 to 5, you know each stage of how it's going to go. But when they die, it's like you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day and the services and this and that and whatever. And I said to him how much I regretted not being there because it's kind of an amazing thing when your parents die. It only happened once. And so why be so scared of this feeling of loss? Why not embrace it and just think, wow, this is amazing. This is kind of beautiful. I don't know what's going on. And go with it rather than feel the need to eat. It's so annoying. It's like I regret not being there for life, for the good, the bad, the ugly, the all of it, just to witness it coming and going and passing and
Sure.
why, I don't know.
Yes. Well, a little compassion. Everyone, just bring in a little compassion for the moment for the one who's been terrified. And just for a little short moment, just a little short moment before we even go all the way in, inquiry is just, I should have done it differently. Is it true? You should have done it differently. Can you absolutely know that that's true? You should have done it differently than you did it. Who would you be without that thought? You did it how you did it. So this question isn't asking you to just completely forget about it. It kind of is like, forget about it. But it's not saying go blank or go numb or be a fantastic at sedating the whole thing and not being concerned. Just saying, what if you did it the way you did it and that was just right? Anne.
So I was just thinking about uh, how I responded when my mother died. Um, when my father died, I I was out of the picture. I couldn't have known that he was dying. But my mother, I was there. I had to travel to be with her. And anyway, I feel like I I was mostly just nervous around the whole thing, like I am, like I've been a lot in my life about a lot of different things. And if I couldn't have the thought that I did it wrong, is that what
Yeah, I should have done it differently.
I've done it differently? Um, it would just force me to like own my nervousness, to own this urgency that I've always felt in my body about being alive. And yeah, I guess that's my big revelation right now. Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, it is. Isn't it something to know this is temporary? Wow, I mean, it's amazing. I love the way you said that. Like it's an emergency of being alive. Yeah, like will happen no matter what. The death of this body, at least. If who I am is body mind, there's no hope for that. Milda.
Following that, mm, lately, as there is, let's say, a chance of the war, um, I'm having this urgencies, of living, like fear that I have not fully embraced life yet. So this urgency and this mind activity that says, I'm not relaxed enough, I'm not enjoying enough, I'm not grateful enough. It's like all of this that I did not reach that state, let's say, of gratefulness, openness, warm-heartedness, and so on. And there is this fear that I will die in this state, never reaching, what I dreamed of, let's say.
Yes, yes.
Or this urgency of living fully, or fear of that I'm not capable to relax and enjoy until there is peace.
Yes, yes. Okay, good one. Yeah, just saying I'm not there. I haven't gotten it. I'm missing something. It hasn't happened. There's something wrong with me. Just something isn't working. Oh no. Larry.
This is amazing conversation because there isn't anything anyone said that I can't go, oh yeah, I get it. That's me. Everything, really. This is really fantastic. And then I thought, because, I don't want to, it's the bad feelings I don't want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Good feelings, great. I don't want to feel this, whatever it is. I do not want to feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I thought about what everybody was saying, and the words that came to me, and I wanted to introduce this because I'm not sure what to make of this, is so what?
Mm.
In other words, I don't know if that's a rebellious, okay, I'm feeling that, so what?
Mm.
Don't make a big deal, not don't make a big deal about it, but don't reject it. So
Sure.
what? So you're feeling that. Okay, great. You're feeling that. So
Yeah.
what? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I can't tell, is that like
Mm.
fuck you to life?
Mm.
Or is that so what?
Yeah.
I mean, why are you making such a big deal about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even with all the conversation, not just here, but throughout the work about death, and
Yeah.
okay, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
Does that, again, is that just really, is that big middle finger to you, life?
Hmm.
Or is that like, okay, it's all part of it?
Well, maybe both aspects. You'd be the one to know. Like when you're, inside, you kind of feel it, and you'll be the one to know if it's a defiant, or yeah, it looks like that's the being human. It looks like everything that everyone's mentioned here today, like this big, huge, full range of experience is what goes on here. But let's do the work on, so those bad feelings, just noticing those feelings, that crunch that can happen so quickly. I'm against it. Sadness, rage, anxiety, panic, overwhelm. I'm against it. It these feelings, they should not be happening. I think Larry said that at the beginning. But I'm against this sensation. And just notice they're attached to thoughts. I I've seen I'm not going to just feel uncomfortable unless there's something stirred, like my perception somewhere has picked up something that it doesn't like. It could be a memory coming through, could be reading the news or other things that you've mentioned. So like inward and outward, I always have this sensation of here's what's inside responding to what's looks like it's outside. So I'm against this trouble, sadness, anger, anxiety, panic, overwhelm, loss, doubt. And just for a moment, notice if you turn outward, you have these beliefs about feelings themselves. And if you turn outward and see if you can see what this feeling is responding to, there's those people doing what they're doing and the body falling apart or the news, uncertainty, travel. Okay. And just notice that that's happening. That's where the attention goes. And then the feeling is in here. All right, I'm against this feeling. It should not be here. These troubled feelings. Is that true? Can you absolutely know that it's true? So you shouldn't be here. I'm against it. And just notice the thought, I need to do something about this feeling. Eat the food, drink the drink, get out of here, make it stop. What happens when you think no about the feeling? How do you react? Stephanie says panic, fear. I try to figure it out. I like Catherine's, I give hashtags. I add up numbers to see how I'm doing. Right. I analyze the past. I know somebody who says the word analyze has an interesting root at the beginning, anal, but I just, like it's, which is sort of the waste end of a whole line of, whatever. But I just, my mind starts go, if I just know something, if I know, like that was a good one about the news, if I just know a whole bunch of stuff about this, that's one of my favorites. Let me see how many books I can read about this thing or programs I can take or whatever, right? What kind of images do I have of how it would look if I didn't have this sensation and feeling? Yeah, see those people over there? Look what's happened over there. That's what I want to be like. Nothing wrong with that, but just interesting. I don't want to be over here. I want to be a different way. I'm against this way. How do you react? Kirsten says, punish. Yes, punish, which always is connected to guilt. There's guilt. So there's a right way and a wrong way. When you do it the wrong way, you're guilty and you should pay for it. Catherine.
Is it okay to just keep jumping in?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So what I find so difficult is that it feels really natural to want to build things, in life, to build a business, to build create a beautiful thing, whatever that someone is hopefully going to want to buy, and that will then sustain you and sustain the people who work for you and give you the creative freedom to keep going and all of that stuff in a collaborative way. So when you feel like the world is working against you and against the world and against itself, and then it's just so demoralizing, and it kind of makes you think, why bother to do any of it? Like, why are we given this instinct to want to create beauty and beautiful connections and collaborate, when I'm fine with all the different things that happen. Bad weather is bad weather. That's nature. But when there are actively things going on that seem actively insane, that are affecting all of us, including the person who's creating this thing, it's sort of, I don't know, it makes me like, I find it, but at the same time, things have a way of doing that. There's craziness, and then people get so crazy, hopefully, that people then come to their senses, and then we go hopefully through a period of beautiful sanity, and then and what where is it?
It happens every day in somebody's life, even with like the compulsive experience you're talking about. It looks like it's crazy and then it kind of relaxes and we go to sleep. I mean, my God, that's the most amazing and relaxed you could possibly be. And every human being does it, even if you think you don't sleep well. You go completely limp and unconscious and you rejuvenate yourself. And that happens every day, at least a little bit. So it's like, that's the way life is. It swings and swings around and swings around, but it's good to notice, how do I react when I think the thought I'm against it? I think, oh, what a terrible, crazy world. Why even be creative at all? Give up. Like, just, I'm going to collapse and do nothing. Of course, I've loved that one too, why even live? Maybe I'll kill myself. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not funny when you're in it. Why bother? You just I'm feeling completely hopeless and resigned.
But could it be used as a reminder in a way to say, okay, I was doing all of this because I love the beauty of connecting to other people who are doing the same thing. And so is it like useful to see it as a reminder, as to say, oh no, that's not necessarily the reason to be doing it. The reason to be doing it is just for the sake of doing it, for the sake of doing something excellent, for the sake of being
reasons. The mind it loves to have good reasons, and nothing wrong with that, but it likes to reason.
It also likes to have bad reasons.
Yes.
It also likes to have the reasons crushed so that it can be like, what's the point? But so you could say, well, okay, let's have a look and see what is really true here. Nothing is actually really true. I can think that the world should be a beautiful place all I want, but should it? And if I can just control my little area of it, maybe it's just about that. And what goes on with other people is kind of not necessarily relevant. I mean, if it is relevant, then we're all in big trouble,
Yes.
you
Well,
know, and just to say, I don't know.
well, just noticing all the, well, what is to be done here and what is the reason and what should I be doing and shall I control this? And it's kind of like a bug with all of with all its
Yeah.
legs. Like, yeah, what are we talking about? To even consider like sort of questioning, isn't there an answer? Isn't there an answer? Isn't there one answer? Isn't there something? And just noticing the mind go like this, you know, when it looks like that it's upset about things, it's concerned, or when we're trying to suppress rage and anxiety and overwhelm and loss and sadness. Shouldn't be here, shouldn't be here, shouldn't be here. Milda.
Um, I'm just wanted to wonder here. Watching the mind is not about being passive or not reacting, let's say, to the things we care. Let's say, even if it's related to the world. Uh, as I understand, if we watch the mind, we still can take actions in regards of that. Because for me, there is fear, you know, that if I will dismiss it, I will have concerns only about myself. So nothing else matters to me, you know. If people suffer in Israel or Hamas or whatever, Ukraine, it doesn't matter because it's not here, it's not reality, and so on, you know.
So I mean, good to notice. Just is there a place that's too detached, or it doesn't really affect me, or what are we doing here with questioning of our thinking reality?
Meaning that there is fear that we as humanity, you know, can become so dismissive and care about ourselves because it's too big to care about the world, you know.
Sure.
But someone needs to care about it, it seems. If
Yes.
everyone was, oh, not my business, you know.
Yes. Yes. Great to notice.
Yeah.
Great to notice that too. Yeah, that's too big for me. It's too big for me, or whatever thoughts come, you know, ticker taping through. Okay, so just noticing that the mind gets very full and it's looking for a solution. And how I react when I'm against the feelings is, you know, I definitely eat it down, drink it down, change the channel, go look for some more, see if there's something a piece of news that'll help, you know, maybe if I know that, then it'll be okay. Just notice the franticness. And so to ask this question, who would you be without the thought, is pretty huge. But imagine, you know, like maybe we are using the mind to ask, who or what are you without this story? That I'm against those feelings. I'm against that feeling of sadness or anger, or anxiety, panic, overwhelm, loss. Who would I be without the thought, I'm against what's happening? It doesn't mean I can't wait, I hope it happens more if I'm reading about the war. But who would I be without the story of being against it? Larry.
Well, it's a corollary to my so what? It's what's the problem? In other words, without the thought, what's the problem? I mean, is there a problem here outside of my thought about it or my feeling about it?
Yeah.
You know, when I look out all the shit that's going on in the world, well, that shit's not out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is in my world
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Yes.
Okay, so shit is in my world. I've made that shit in my world. What's the problem? Shit
Yeah.
is in my world. What's the problem? Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
the other thing that enters Grace is I get this when we're together in the conversation.
Uh-huh.
And then the imagining is, as soon as this phone call's over, I'm like, oh my God, the shit is in the world.
Yes. Yes.
But
Well,
sitting here with you, I can see
yes. Well, just,
why is it the problem?
it goes so how do I keep this? Now I've got just something that kind of can relax, and I still might, if I was like that, like if I get thirsty, oh, I noticed I just took a drink of water. I didn't plan on taking the drink of water. There was a feeling kind of in the back of my throat, and I just took the water. So movement still happened. It wasn't like I'm I'm in a living being that's being lived. Like how Byron Katie says that I'm being lived. Without the story, I there's still something here that's beating my heart and animating me and moving me. And if I'm not like totally obsessed with my own mind telling me what's going on, I'm just open. There's something more relaxed. You could think of your mind as being, I like the image of it being just a little machine that just is going, those little noise machines that go in therapy offices, and they go, psh, just making a little sound. And you just think of it as being a little sound over there in the corner. And if I didn't believe what it's saying, like free falling, no answer, don't know, mind. Catherine.
Sorry. Um, yeah, also just I love what Larry just said, but also that what's the problem? But could you take it further and just say, what is the problem that there is a problem?
Yes.
There are big problems. There's a big problem, but there is also something else going on.
Yeah.
There is also the impulse to go and get a drink of water.
Yes.
There is also a it's spring and the flowers in London are all bursting.
Yes.
That is also going on.
Yes.
So, and not to kind of use that as an escape from there's a problem, but just hold them both so that I have the strength to feel that there's a problem without having to eat on it.
Yes.
Like I can rage and be angry and because it is fucking annoying,
Yeah.
some things that are going on are worth being in a rage about.
Mhm.
But there is also the most beautiful camellia that is bursting out of a thing, and there is also a kind of heaven sent impulse to go and get a glass of water. Thank God for that, because that's not related to the problems that are going on in the world.
Yeah.
So why not feel rage and feel it? I don't have to hurt anybody. Obviously, that would be completely, wrong. But to feel angry and then go and smell a rose or something.
Yeah. I love how in reality there is anger. Why am I so against it? If I'm arguing with reality, there's rage and panic and overwhelm and lots of thinking going on. And if I just, just speaking of allowing, like we did at the beginning, just allowing, just letting it, instead of coming in and trying to manage.
By eating.
Yes. Yes. Like, what if I asked myself, oh, sweetie, what's happening? You are really angry right now. What is happening? Like, so kindly, curious. who am I without the thought that shouldn't be there, you know? I don't have to be doing that in the middle of, there's, something where, I don't know, I just had this funny, but, you know, walking down the street or in the middle of the grocery store or something like that. Oh, sweet. But you could, wouldn't be that, you know, but it's just noticing that's just part of the whole great movement of all that's happening. Connected, very connected to not just sort of solo, or just having your attention go only where your own telescope is going, which is what we do. And I mean, me too, walking along, having a nice walk, and then have a thought of something. And then my mind is going on, ooh, let's think about that for a while. And, it skips around and does what it does. But then I see the flowers or the street or the grate that I'm passing or those houses or whatever. Bonnie.
Just the fact that you called yourself sweetie just really touched me because after spending a day eating and sitting around like, the thoughts I have about myself are not sweetie. They're like ugly, like you failure, but then it's like, oh, sweetie, it's that curiosity that you said.
Yeah.
Did that help? Or oh, just having that compassion for yourself really is it such a big switch, and it felt so good when you said that. I thought, oh, that's what that would feel much better to
Yeah.
call myself sweetie.
Yes. Like sometimes it's that one that's the attacking one. You say, I see you're really upset. You're really upset. And would you mind, where I hear you about I should have done it wrong. And that one thinks that, attacking you is the answer. Then you won't do it again. And of course that doesn't work. If you could just settle down and just maybe sit over there in that chair for a minute. I'm just going to talk to the one who was panicked and did the eating,
Mm.
feels so upset about everything and can be very kind, just to wait like you're treating yourself like a little 5-year-old child having feelings.
That feels very good.
And that is a very lovely turnaround, just for our work today. It's just like there, there I am being myself. It shows up like this. Feelings come through, doubt, loss, panic, sadness, heartbreak, heavy thinking, busy anxiety, whatever. And it just, and it's okay. I'm not against it. I'm even in favor of it. Maybe it's a brilliant built-in engineering app that helps you know. I think Byron Katie would say something like that, like ding, 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 ding. Like, might want to question, might want to question. I'm just remembering I'm okay. I'm a human being. I'm okay. I'm a human being. These feelings are allowed to be here. I'm looking to be just like completely comfortable at all times. I don't know. Maybe we are, but maybe part of the mind is, but just flat. No, it's going to have all the full range, mountains and valleys. But just trust. And I love the way, some of you are bringing up also the complete opposite. As these feelings rise and they are here, and that's the weather. There's also something beautiful about all the weather and very mysterious, that's for sure. And we just, it'll pass. Yeah, it'll all pass. Just coming back to right now in the moment. Who are you without the thought? Right now. Just now, no thought. Just heart beating, being breathed, being lived. Very sweet to be with everybody today. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, and thank everybody. This was wonderful. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Grace.
Ray.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Grace. Thanks,
everyone.
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.